Student debaters tackle the issue of gun control in light of recent mass shootings.
And a sorority on campus closes up shop. I'm Bryant Reed.
And I'm Alexis Clinton. Those stories and more coming up on Carolina News Today.
Carolina News Today is brought to you in part by the Wing Company of Pembroke, serving award-winning wings fresh, not frozen. Live entertainment weekly, 703 West 3rd Street in Pembroke. 10% discount for students and teachers every day. TheOriginalWingCo.com.
UNCP's Office of Fraternity and Sorority Life has announced that the Tri Sigmas will no longer be recognized as a student organization. The Delta Theta chapter of Sigma 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 had been visited by our national representatives earlier this semester. The chapter was originally investigated in relation to the blackface incident with a recruiting officer. Neither the university nor headquarters has released a statement on what exactly led to the closing, but the Tri Sigmas did conduct an extensive internal review of standards and practices after the controversy.
The UC Lounge went wild on Tuesday when UNCP's Residence Hall Association hosted their own version of the MTV show Wild 'N Out. 325 people were in attendance watching teams go head-to-head, playing a variety of comic mini-games such as Spit Take. The show was known for its insult humor. The winning team was Dark Squad. Team leader DJ Ray says he wasn't confident in his humor at first.
It feels really good to have won. It's like everybody tells me that I'm funny without trying, and I've never seen it. I'm cornier than Steve Urkel. Heck, I am the 2018 Steve Urkel.
Spectrum's annual Spring Drag Show was a family affair for some performers and audience members. With the theme this year of Draskerade, UNCP alumnus Tatiana Matthews joined Jinx and Stacey Lane Matthews. Stacey Lane was featured on Season 3 of RuPaul's Drag Race. Spectrum is the LGBT club on campus, and this event was free to students and co-sponsored by the Student Government Association, who helped pay for the performers. The father of performer Jinx Matthews came to the event and said the colorful lifestyle took some getting used to.
He came out to us about 8 years ago, and that was maybe the most difficult night of my life. And after that, I began reading everything I could get my hands on, and I've come to the conclusion that we don't make choices about our orientation. So him going from being a gay son to being a drag entertainer was a very small step. That's not a big step at all. Accepting him for who he is was a bigger challenge, but we've been able to do that.
Mr. Holloway said events like that helps to foster awareness and acceptance of who people really are. Queen Tatiana Matthews said she got started in drag while still a student at UNCP.
I started going to school here at UNCP in 2006. I was here a music education major, and I minored in theater. I did a musical theater program. I did stage makeup. I was in marching band. I did color guard. Every ensemble that you can think of. So it was kind of like natural for me to fall into the performance arts.
In light of recent mass shootings, including school shootings, the Department of Political Science and the Office for Diversity and Inclusion co-sponsored a gun control debate on campus. The debate was between Chapel Brock, who was a senior history major, and Omar Torres, who was a junior physics major. The two students formally debated the pros and cons of stricter gun ownership laws in the United States. Political science professor Dr. Kevin Freeman was the moderator of the debate. The rules limited the speakers to 2 minutes to answer each question with a 15-second warning. The debate never turned into a yelling match. UNCP student Oscar Rodriguez came out to the event because he said it's important to stay aware of issues that are going on in the United States.
It's been a debate that's been going around for the last 50, 60 years, so I feel as though it's important to, get out and actually talk about this topic and get informed and not just kind of go off of what you hear in the news.
Theater professor Holden Hansen has received the UNC Board of Governors Award for teaching excellence. The prize is given annually to one teacher at each of the 17 campuses. At UNCP, the winner is determined by the Faculty Awards Committee after a portfolio review, letters of recommendation from students, and teaching observations. Professor Hansen is a professional actor who joined the faculty in 1997 and teaches acting and theater history courses. He directs 2 student productions a year. The BOG Award is a $12,500 prize that comes with a bronze medallion.
9 students from the UNCP chapter of Brother to Brother took a trip to Atlanta to attend their 14th annual national conference. The group was able to network with college and high school students and professionals in leadership positions not only from the southeastern region but from all over the world. They also toured the city of Atlanta when the conference was over. Student leader Boye Boker and President Xavier Covington say they learned about leadership qualities and got a lot of ideas about how to apply those to the club and their own lives.
I learned to be a better leader within my own group and to step out my comfort zone, because even though I'm not a really shy person, it has helped me to not to only approach people but to also build friendships and be able to communicate better, and also that will help me throughout life.
With it being in a big city like Atlanta, it definitely broadens your horizons. So, I was able to get a new perspective of going there, able to bond with my brothers that went along with me to the trip, able to, do a little sightseeing. And, it was great to be, in another location outside of Pembroke, be able to see some new places, and also, be able to learn a lot in the process.
The Special Olympics Spring Games celebrated their 50th year of the event this week. This is the third year Robeson County has held their local version of Spring Special Olympics on UNCP's campus. It's a volunteer-based event that allows for youth and intellectual disabilities to compete in a variety of athletic competitions. The Office for Community and Civic Engagement helps to staff the event, along with students from the special education major and the athletic department. The kids had a lot of fun and were blessed with beautiful weather to enjoy the day.
UNCP has announced the keynote speaker for undergraduate spring commencement on May 5th. U.S. Senator Richard Burge, a Republican from Winston-Salem. Burge is well known in the community for having introduced bills that would extend full recognition to the Lumbee tribe. He was a key figure in helping with Hurricane Matthew relief and previously gave UNCP's commencement speech back in 2005.
A multinational company is expanding its manufacturing operations in Reidsville. Albad USA is headquartered in Israel and makes wet wipes and other hygiene products. The expansion is expected to create 302 jobs in Rockingham County area. Positions to be created include engineers, technicians, and logistics personnel. The salaries will average around $38,000, which is a little higher than Rockingham County's current average salary.
Governor Roy Cooper has declared April as Work Zone Safety Awareness Month for crews working on the state's roadways. Also, two massive new cranes made their way to the Port of Wilmington as part of a $200 million investment in the port's infrastructure. Here's NCDOT Now.
Welcome to this week's edition of NCDOT Now. I'm your host, Miracle King. As the weather warms up and more people are hitting the roads, there's a greater chance that you will be driving through a work zone. The safety of you and our crews is top priority here at the department, so let's make sure that everyone makes it home tonight. Last year, there were more than 7,200 crashes and 38 deaths in work zones across North Carolina. Distracted driving and speeding were the primary causes of the crashes. To help save lives, Governor Roy Cooper has declared April as Work Zone Safety Awareness Month and April 9th through 13th as Work Zone Safety Awareness Week.
Every year, we have people who are working, putting together a road, repairing a road, and don't come home because they have been hit in a work zone or endangered in some other way by passing motorists who are inattentive and in most cases speeding. We want to make sure that that does not happen in North Carolina this year.
Motorists are asked to drive smart. Do your part when driving in a work zone by following these tips to help you and others stay safe. Don't tailgate the car in front of you. Pay close attention to signs and work zone flaggers. Obey the posted speed limits in and around a work zone. And do not change lanes. To learn more, visit the Work Zone Safety website. On another note, last week residents along the Cape Fear River in Wilmington were able to watch as two massive Neo-Panamax cranes made their way to the Port of Wilmington. The new and larger cranes, weighing more than 1,500 tons each, will allow the port to service bigger cargo ships, which benefits all of North Carolina's economy as more container ships can be quickly processed. 17 boats from federal, state, and local agencies helped safely guide the ship, which began its journey from Asia in January up the river to the port. The cranes, towering at 120 and 150 feet, are part of a $200 million investment in the port's infrastructure, port customers, and the state's economy. You can learn more about Wilmington's growing port system at ncports.com. That's all for this week's edition of NCDOT Now. Please stay connected with us on Facebook and Twitter at NCDOT. You can also follow us on Snapchat and Instagram at NCDOT.com. From all of us here at the North Carolina Department of Transportation, safe travels.
A water main break is causing problems along a busy road in Charlotte. Take a look at this. Police closed outbound Independence Boulevard at Village Lake Drive because of flooding. The Charlotte Observer has reported the flooding also caused a large sinkhole. No official statement yet on when the water main will be fixed.
Another fraternity in hot water over a blackface incident. Students at California Polytechnic are outraged after the racially charged photos surfaced. The fraternity has apologized and is on interim suspension, but some are calling for more action and point out that racism is an ongoing issue on the campus. Keith Carls reports.
Standing room only Monday night on the Cal Poly campus as students packed a student-organized town hall meeting. Those that couldn't get inside the meeting room watched a live stream on their cell phones. Some African-American students say they don't feel welcome on campus.
Tired. We're tired.
Just like any other black person, I mean, you see somebody dressed in blackface. If you know the history of blackface, you would know exactly how it makes you feel.
Lambda Chi Alpha, we're calling you out one more time!
The Lambda Chi Alpha fraternity is under fire after a photo of a fraternity member in blackface began circulating on social media. Another group picture shows fraternity members posing as gang members. The photo was posted on Instagram and has since been deleted. In a statement to the school paper, the fraternity explained their members dressed in different team colors for a competition. But they also apologized for failing to recognize the racial impacts it's brought forth. The Cal Poly Black Student Union is demanding action from the university administration.
I can't speak for everybody, but we just want the campus to pretty much take actions with this instead of brushing it under the rug. Things like this have happened in the past, and we feel that students are tired of it. You know, something needs to change.
Others are calling on the university to shut down the Lambda Chi Alpha fraternity permanently.
I want the frat to cease and desist. I want the university to expel them. They need to expel them right now.
In a statement, the administration says the university finds deplorable any acts that would hurt, offend, intimidate, or frighten any member of the campus community, and adds it is investigating the matter.
A student at Ole Miss has tested positive for tuberculosis, and now the Mississippi Department of Health is working with the university to test anyone who may have been exposed. That's about 500 people. How the University of Mississippi student came down with the disease is not known. Tuberculosis can be spread through the air. Student responses vary.
I mean, I'm honestly scared because I don't want that.
Not too worried about it. You know, it's always a possibility with college students around.
Thousands of former customers can now begin collecting refunds from the company known as Trump University. A judge finalized the $25 million class action settlement against the real estate school on Monday. Former students can get back up to 90% of what they spent on classes. Some plan to spend as much as $35,000 on the most expensive class. They say the university claimed to teach real estate investment techniques that could make them rich. Trump appeared in advertisements for the school, saying he handpicked instructors, but he could not name any in his deposition. He agreed to settle the lawsuit just a few days after he was elected president. The judge approved the settlement in March of last year, but it was delayed by one plaintiff who wanted to go to trial.
Did you think Fitbits and other activity trackers are only for people? Think again. As it turns out, such devices are being used on cows. Check it out.
On a dairy farm with more than 2,500 cows, technology
We've been milking cows for over 100 years.
Is of utter importance.
We feel like automation is the future of milking cows.
That's why Tom Ersch, the dairy operation manager at Swiss Lane Farms, decided these were worth a try.
The activity trackers, you can see they're all right on the side there.
The gadgets on their neck track weight, daily steps, milk production, even how often she chews and spits.
The more she's chewing, we know the more healthy her stomach is.
Corralling all that cattle information electronically has been a big help.
Is her health changing? Does her milk need to be removed from the milking string?
Unlike most Fitbit users, these cows aren't tracking their activity around the clock, but someone up there usually is.
This is our dashboard.
Up above the bovine below,
I can sort the cows based on production.
This is Cow Command.
How fast her milk flow was, how long in between visits.
Tom and his team quickly sort and digest the information.
So this is all right on my phone.
Everything from which cow needs attention to if one's in heat, ready for breeding.
If you can use the data to help you identify cows and you don't have to be out disrupting the cows, walking through and looking for who's limping or who's laying down and hasn't moved in a few hours.
The cows in this barn at Swiss Lane Farms are calmer, living longer, producing more, and in the hospital less since the addition of these trackers. It's a testament to technology, if you ask Tom.
And we've seen a real benefit to their health and everything else because they're just being cows.
Braves baseball takes on regional rival Francis Marion University.
And the 32-year-old gets called up from the G League and shines in his NBA debut.
Sports are up next with Dolphus Pearson III.
Welcome back. Braves baseball had a 3-game series over the weekend against Francis Marion. In Game 1 on Friday, the Braves found themselves down 4-2 going into the 8th inning. However, the team would rally behind a 3-run homer by Luke Jackson in the 8th inning to defeat the Patriots 8-4. In the doubleheader on Sunday, the Braves split the day 1-1. In the first game, they fell 14-8, but they wrapped up the final outing with the 8-4 victory. The Braves are now 20-2 at home and 7-8 on the road this season. They'll be back in action Friday at North Georgia. Braves softball finally got a chance to play since their close call on the car accident en route to Young Harris. The team took on Georgia Southwestern in a doubleheader Friday. In Game 1, the Hurricanes took an early 6-0 lead in the bottom of the second. The Braves would show signs of life behind Jamie Johnson, who drove in 3 runs. However, it wasn't enough, and the Braves fell to the Hurricanes 6-4. The inconsistency continued in Game 2 as they went scoreless in the final 4 innings. The Hurricanes will go on to defeat the Braves 6-3. The golf team wraps up their season this weekend at the Peach Belt Conference Championships. The 3-day 56-hole event will be held at the renowned World Golf Village in St. Augustine, Florida. Last year, the team finished 3rd out of 7 teams. The Braves will tee off Friday morning. Braves football will play in their annual Black and Gold scrimmage this week to preview returning players and give football fans their football fix a little early. The Braves are coming off a 2-8 season, and the players are looking to put in strategic performance to wrap up spring training. As the school year comes to a close, Athletic Director Dick Christie reflects on this year's many milestones for the Braves.
It's been a great run. Obviously, we got a lot of seasons still underway and a lot of teams that are in the mix and have a chance to win a championship. So we're keeping our foot on the gas, but you know, winning 7 championships in 2 years is just it doesn't matter how much hard work goes in. There are so many teams that are competitive. There are so many groups out there with better resources. It's a rare run, and it's something that I think our staff and our coaches have to take a stop, look back, and appreciate, because you know it doesn't happen very often, and it's something that it speaks to our culture. It's something that we just have to enjoy while it's here and keep trying to push forward.
This week on Inside Athletics, we discussed the Robeson County Slugfest, a 3-day baseball tournament that hosts all of the teams in the county. Teams are seeded based on their overall record. This year, we witnessed a Herculean effort from an unexpected competitor.
And Brandon, the biggest turnaround I would have to say coming from baseball was Purnell Sweat. I mean, they came in with 1 win, and they picked up 2 wins in the tournament. They picked up their 4th win of the season last night against 71st. How do you feel like that's really changed the tide of the season?
Yeah, well, I remember covering the first couple games of the season for them, where you could sense after those games when they would lose, they would just seem to be in shambles. The coaching staff would be frustrated, the players would be frustrated, and at that point, I'd be kind of concerned about the future of this team. Are they going to be able to get it together?
What is persistence? Better yet, how does it pertain to a professional athlete trying to compete at the highest level? allow me to introduce Andre Ingram, a man who spent a decade in the NBA developmental G League. At 32 years of age, Ingram finally got the opportunity of a lifetime. He received a call to play for the Los Angeles Lakers. He certainly didn't disappoint as he logged 19 points in this inspirational NBA debut. Ingram left the G League as the all-time leader in three-pointers made and will be on tap as the Lakers wrap up their season. That's it for sports. Be sure to follow me on Twitter for all of your college football recruiting needs at Dolph_WNCP. Back to the studio.
Thanks, Dolphus.
That's all for us.
Thanks to those watching at home. We'll be back next week.